All right, thank you very much, guys. And we're joined now by our special guest, goaltender for the men's hockey team for St. Cloud State, Dan Dunn. Dan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you've won your last two starts, and it was only a few months ago that you kind of had a little bit of uncertainty around you. You weren't quite sure if you're going to return to St. Cloud State. A crowded crease with Mike Lee coming in and Jay Swislowski potentially coming back. For you, it's a good thing because Jay Swislowski is no longer with the team. You're still here, and you had a successful start so far with 2 wins on the season, goals against average under 2. The team is playing well in front of you. Just talk a little bit about that emotional kind of roller coaster that you went through, not knowing if you're going to be at St. Cloud.
Yeah, whenever you don't know where you're going to be, it is an emotional roller coaster because, I mean, you know, it's an unknown, and in your career, that's something that can really throw a curveball at you. So I'm just happy to be back and happy to get an opportunity, and I can just, you know, I'm just going to do as much as I can with it.
You started your season off with a 3-2 overtime loss to the #1 team in the nation. That's currently where they stand in Miami, Ohio. But you've won your last 2, both against WCHA opponents at home against Minnesota Duluth and on the road against Michigan Tech. And things are going well for you right now. As I mentioned, you boasted goals against average under 2, and you've won your last 2 games. And how do you feel about your play so far this season, not only for you personally, but the team in front of you?
I think it's important for the team, but it's really important for me too, just because after the last few years and with the summer and everything, you know, there's kind of some doubts in your mind as to, you know, do I still have it? Can I still do this in big time situations? And you know, with the help of the team and all the guys in front of me, the defense, forwards, everybody doing their job, it's coming together really well.
So far, so good for the team this season, and it's been a kind of a relationship with you and Mike Lee in nets. Mike's played 5 games, you've got 3 so far this season. But splitting time a little bit, talk a little bit about your relationship with Mike Lee as 2 competitive goaltenders who have both put up the stats to justify playing. Your relationship kind of pushing each other to get in game play.
Yeah, every day we're out there battling in practice, and Mike's a really hard-working guy, and I noticed that right from the start, and it shows in his play. I mean, he's done really well in the games that he has played, and I think that you know, down the road he's going to be a big star here.
Now, right now you don't have painted masks. You told me you're working on getting that. You're wearing that white mask right now, but something a little bit more on the personal level I want to talk about. On your mask last season on the back plate, and obviously a goaltending mask is something that is very personal for a lot of guys. You had something on the back plate in the hockey arena. There was a post-it note with the words, "Never lose hope" written. I hear there's an interesting story behind that. Could you fill us in on that?
I wouldn't say it's too interesting, but just a couple of years before, probably the year before I played my last year juniors, before I came here, there was just a point in my hockey career where I just felt that you know, the things weren't going my way, and they hadn't been for a long time, and you know, I was just ready to hang up the skates and just go to school and be a student, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I had a friend that came to me, and you know, he's been pushing me all through my way, and he just kind of said, "Hey, you know, just keep going." And he gave me a pack of hockey cards, which are just the most random cards ever, from like way back in the 70s and 80s. But he had a little post-it note on there that said, "Never lose hope." And so, just as a little tribute to him, I thought I'd put that on the back of my mask, and it seemed to have worked out. It got people's attention, that's for sure.
Certainly did, and something that you mentioned about working on in the off season for yourself, and something that kind of ties into that a little bit, is the mental side of the game, and obviously wanting to hang up the skates at one point, coming back to where you are. Mental part of the game plays a lot. A lot of people say it's about 90% of goaltending, and really for someone who has never played the position, they might not know how much it is. But you told me in the off season you worked on quite a bit of your mental side of the game. Tell us a little bit how that's been paying off for you so far this season.
You know, a lot of people don't realize it, but when you're in there with all the TV timeouts and breaks and whistles and in between periods, you know, it's not just 60 minutes you have to stay focused for. And I think that coming into a bigger program than where I was in juniors, where the games went by pretty quick, you got to develop your focus, your mental focus, for that much longer. And it's something that's not easy, and a lot of people overlook it. They think, oh, you know, you just got to be flexible and strong and be able to see the puck. But you know, your brain's a big aspect in that, and I think it's really helped this year that I focused on that point.
And working with the bigger crowds obviously has to play into that too. And a big crowd you'll be seeing this weekend when you go up to Ralph Ingolstadt Arena and play North Dakota after coming off a split with Michigan Tech and then a week off. Guys got healthy. A good thing for you guys, but you're going up and playing the #2 team in the nation in North Dakota. A road trip that interesting to make. You're playing from a big crowd. You do have to hold the mental, but a team that you like playing. What are you looking forward to about that series?
Yeah, it's always a really fun building to play in. And I mean, the first few times I went there, I got to just sit and spectate. And I mean, I got to see the end of I got to see a third period last year or something like that. And just to get in there and be able to look up and, you know, take it all in makes you that much more ready for it the next time you're there.
One more thing about the technical side of your game I want to talk about. You're a big guy. I mean, you're about a foot taller than me, and you know when I interviewed you earlier this season, you essentially had to get down in the crouch to get down on the microphone for me. So being a big netminder, it seems like we're seeing more big butterfly netminders in this day and age. In the day of the small goaltender, has started to kind of go by the hay. So talk a little bit about the advantages of the size that you have and how you play into that.
Yeah, and I mean, I never really noticed well, obviously I know I'm a bigger guy, but at the same time you don't really notice it when you're in there actually doing your thing. It took our goalie coach Mike Ayers this year that came in, a really great guy, and he's just been helping me learn things like, you know, you don't have to come out too far because you're already big enough. You can just play it safe, and then it actually makes you quicker getting from A to B when you're trying to move around too. And just little things like that in the technical side's really helped.
I gotta ask you one final question. In the game against the Bulldogs, you had an empty net, 2-goal lead, a chance to shoot for it. The goaltender's dream maybe to get that empty net goal. You missed a little wide to the right, but had you put it in, what would have been your celebration?
I have no clue. I wasn't expecting to get it. You know, you shoot that off and you're just hoping to get it down there and hope it gets in the right area, but it didn't, and I mean, it would have been pretty cool to see.
Dan, good luck in North Dakota this weekend. Thanks for joining us.